Wargo, team pilot with Precision Aerobatics and Hobbyking, and today we're going to teach you the Harrier Roll. It's the most requested maneuver from advanced 3D pilots. It's very difficult, takes quite a while. It's very hard to describe why it's so difficult, because it kind of demands a bit of coordination between every surface. The ailerons, the elevator, the rudder, the throttle, it's all very important. None more important than the throttle. But today, I think I have a simpler way to learn it, and I think a very pragmatic, practical way of learning all the things involved in a rolling Harrier. So let's go. There are going to be 4 steps and 4 skills. Skill number 1 is pretty obvious. It is a Harrier roll, not a roll. So that means we have to learn how to Harrier. I have many videos learning how to do this. The basic skill is to let the plane fall down with all the elevator you can muster, and just start adding throttle until it stops falling. We've gone over this many times. Here it is again. I'm going to flip the plane over, get full elevator, and cut the throttle, and it's just falling. Now I'm going to add a little throttle back, and as I add more and more throttle, release the elevator a little bit, and now I'm going to just add more throttle until it stops. Now, the idea is to keep driving it around this way in a Harrier, up high at first. I obviously know how to do it, so I'm not fearful of the ground at this point. But I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can hear a lot of throttle manipulation, and that is the big key to a Harrier. Watch the nose, and it's a constant dance between the elevator and the throttle. And that's the Harrier. That is the first thing we're going to learn. Step number 2. This is a 4-point roll. Roll right, left rudder. Roll again, a little bit of up elevator. Roll again, a little bit of right rudder. And then roll again to level off. And we need to practice that at all angles and at all speeds. The higher the speed, the easier it is. 2, 3, 4. Now all we're doing is we are going left rudder release as we're going inverted, watch it. Now we're going to go to right rudder, and then we're going to go level. And each time I do it, all I'm doing is watching for the nose. I don't want to add too much that the nose is going up, and I don't want to let the nose go down. So, as I'm rolling onto knife edge, I'm adding just enough, and add it slowly. And as I'm inverted, I'm adding just enough elevator to keep it up. Now when I go to the right side, I'm adding it again, and so on. Now it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get through the roll. You can practice them fast, but regardless, you need to be able to do them fast and slow. And the next iteration, of course, is a slow roll. So I'm just traveling slow, and I'm going to just gradually try and watch the nose, left rudder, right rudder, straight. And watch your need for elevator depending on the aircraft. This one flies so straight and true that, it's kind of hard to screw it up with this one, as long as you're putting the right inputs in. So that slow roll is the beginning of a rolling Harrier, because theoretically that's all a rolling Harrier is you're rolling, but the other part of the definition is you're rolling with the aircraft stalled. So take that slow roll and just make them slower and slower. And when I say slower, I mean slower with the aircraft. Let the aircraft go really slow, but watch the rudder and watch the inputs. Now, the final part of this is going to be trying to continually roll without having any decrease in altitude. Do it a lot higher, of course, than I'm doing it. Just keep rolling and watch your altitude. The one thing that is a huge concern is so many people teach a stir. That means moving the sticks left and right, left, right on the rudder. And a stir is just not a good idea, because you're technically not flying the aircraft. You're trying to find a cadence, and the aircraft will never cooperate through the whole roll. For instance, right now, I'll roll this way. Now, as I have the wind getting at my back, everything changes. It's rolling faster and then slower. And then when I get into the wind, you see the Ailerons are very inconsistent. The roll is inconsistent. It's very difficult. But you can see what I did. I flew the plane through the whole roll. I watched the nose and made the adjustments necessary for that particular rate of aileron. The very last part of this is to take what you've learned up at altitude like that, and this time stall the aircraft. We're going to get the plane into a stall, into a Harrier, now roll, and see if you can get through just one. Stall, roll, and you see the nose starting to fall down? Well, the idea is to prevent it. So I added more rudder. Stalled, lots of rudder, both sides. Get one. And your entire goal is nothing more than to watch the nose, to make sure the nose stays exactly level. See, it looks like a broom handle is going through the nose of the aircraft, and that's the way it's supposed to look. As you get better and better at it, they start looking better and better. They start going slower and slower, or quicker and quicker if you want to do more bullet type rolls. But this maneuver is difficult. It involves left and right rudder, and it involves using the elevator, and more importantly than anything else is going to be the throttle. Last but not least, I'm going to give you an idea of what the throttle sounds like. I hope Steve can catch this, and I hope the camera catches it. But you can hear there's a lot of throttle blipping going on. And in order to start rolling at this rate, I got to add some throttle. You hear how the throttle had to come off again as it starts climbing. So the idea is, for the most part, just to stop the aircraft from climbing and stop it from falling. Here we go again, and I'll try and see if we can get close enough to get the throttle management. If you hear the different blips, that is just to preserve the altitude. Here I'm doing it with my very big 40% aircraft. You can see how the surfaces are a bit more exaggerated. Well, here it is in very slow motion. You can see the rudder going from left to center to right to center. And then you'll see the elevator go from up elevator to down elevator alternately, and relax to the center in between. You'll see I'm also pumping the throttle quite a bit. This plane right now is very low, so throttle management is critically important. As you start and you're high up, you can get away with just rudder. As you start getting lower, you'll start to have to add elevator, and then of course when you get really low, throttle becomes very important to add to this mix. Okay, we're going to demonstrate the throttle management. As you can hear, the throttle is constantly moving to maintain good altitude. Here is position 1, quarter roll, full right aileron, full left rudder. Position 2 is a little bit of up elevator and no rudder. Position 3 is full right aileron, full right rudder. Position 4 is no rudder and a little bit of up elevator. The rolling Harrier is difficult. The bottom line is, as you're rolling right, left rudder, no rudder, and the difference between that first turn and coming out of it, or that first rotation, is you have to add the rudder gradually until you hit the level. But it's all feel, and it's all something that takes a lot of time. When you're rolling through the other side, it's exactly the same thing. You add rudder going in, you release it a little bit going out. The better you get at that, the straighter you can keep the rolls. It's a little difficult to control your turning until you really understand that you're flying the aircraft the whole time.